All right, new products. Let's just go right to the source here.
Let's go. Okay, so just scroll down because it's been
it's
been a while,
sure
but that's okay.
Probably want to see us too.
What?
No, I guess we'll just go ahead.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
Okay, so scroll down.
Yeah.
And we'll go scroll, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Go, 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 go. Stop. Okay, so let's click on these SHG cables. Okay, so we had a couple requests for longer versions of the. Oh, can I use it?
Yeah, do you want to scroll? Yeah. Watch out, there's a bunch of buttons that go crazy on this thing.
Right. Okay, so we stock these shorter JST-SH cables, which have a JST-SH 3-pin, and then socket connectors. Now we have them in a slightly longer 200 millimeter format. This was requested, and I'm like, yeah, you got a point there. I like the short ones, but long ones are good too. These are kind of intended to use with our like UPDI friend, as like a little breakout cable, so you can like plug it in, or with something like the Sparkle Motion. Basically some boards that I didn't put a big JST PH on. I put a JST SH 1 millimeter pitch connector. You can use them as a Pico debug probe, but the colors are not going to be what you normally expect because red and black, like ground is red and black is data. But we do have them in stock. We also now have plug versions as well. I might as well just get to these. And these, I think, are going to be best used for when you want to use these NeoPixel breakouts. We did have a request. People were like, I want to like have Sobel NeoPixels that have cables. And I'm like, well, they're not going to be cheap, but you can use these to connect. And people are like, well, I want to chain them. Well, that's when you would use these plug cables. So we have those in stock now as well. Let's go back to the front page. I did a lot of clicking. Okay. Next is conductive rubber cord. We had a request. We have this in 1 meter long, and some people are like, can we get this in a 3 meter long? Use these little clippies, these alligator clips, and a resistor to create a resistor divider. These have a resistance that does change. It's not like perfectly linear, and as it kind of goes back to shape, it will change a little bit. But basically, you can use this as a stretch sensor. It's very inexpensive, and it works fairly well, and it's very rubbery. So this is just a conductive cord that you can turn into an analog sensor. We had a star of the show, which already sold out, but we're going to get more made soon. This is a e-ink bonnet for the any Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi compatible, anything with this 2x20 header. You can see in the bottom, there is a 2x20 connector that you can plug in. And it gives you access. It actually gives you a couple things. So the main thing is this circuitry here lets you support classic e-ink displays. So almost all e-ink displays, not the 6-color ones, but like the monochrome, the tricolor, quad color, they have this standard 24-pin connector. And now you can use them directly with the Raspberry Pi. I would recommend getting one of our extender cables because you would get a lot of space. You can mount this anywhere, and then you can use our Python code to easily draw any image you want on to the display. You can use dithering because you've got access to all the graphics tools that you would on a Raspberry Pi. And we had a little bit of space left over. So in addition to having like the breakout for all the pads, there's 2 buttons, 5 and 6, so you can like change programs. There's a switch to change the resistance. By default, I think 0.5 is what like almost all panels use, but some want 3 ohms. Just flick it over. A JST PH connector with power, ground, and digital 12. You can like connect NeoPixels or whatever. And a speaker, as well as STEMMA QT. And the reason I put an I2S speaker on is I figure if you have an e-ink display, you might want to have audio alerts. Even though it's not going to be maybe the loudest speaker, it's a like 3 watt max. You could like have some notifications and stuff, and you still have GPIO you can connect to here if you want buttons, or you want to connect I2C devices over the STEMMA QT. So I think it'll be a good, like I see a lot of people making pretty cool e-ink projects. I think you could power many interesting ink projects with this bonnet. And like I said, it works with any 24-pin e-paper display. And we sell the raw displays as well in the shop. Actually, maybe we'll see, I think. Yeah, one of our bare displays. So we stock, from 2.13 up to 7.5 inch, monochrome and tricolor displays. All these will work. And we have Python drivers for all of them. Okay, so next up, we've got this beautiful snap-on enclosure for the fruit jam. If you have a fruit jam, also the guide came out for this. Noah and Pedro published it. These are like beautiful black 3D printed resin cases with there's a little slide switch for on-off. There's really cool, like ultra thin diffused area for the NeoPixels. Looks great. And tabs for all the buttons. People really like this. And then slots for the USB ports and for the headphone jack on the right. So you can see these are all the different ports you might need. And then the DVI port, USB, micro SD, and the headphone jack. So pick that up if you have a fruit jam and you want to protect it. We also have a breakout for the SPA06003. This is a temperature and pressure sensor. It's kind of a low-cost sensor. It's not going to be as good as the BMP series, which we stock, the BMP 280 and 390 and 388 and 5, whatever. But I do see this sensor in a lot of DIY quadcopter builds, and I was like, well, it's not a big deal to stock it. So I made a little breakout for it, and we have Arduino and Python and CircuitPython code. You can read the temperature and pressure from it. Again, not as good as the BMP sensors, but it's a little less expensive. Also have a really nice I2S DAC built on the PCM5122. This I2S, this digital DAC chip, is used on, I think, the Hi-Fi Berry and some other, Raspberry Pi bonnets and stuff. But it's also, what I really like about this I2S DAC is it's, digital in. So you've got down here, power, ground, and then the I2S, W select, DN, B clock. M clock is optional. You do not need to give it a M clock signal, which means it works great with any microcontroller that does I2S because a lot of them don't generate M clock. It has a digital mute and line out left and right stereo. And you don't need to use it. You don't have to configure it. Like if you want, you can use it in a hardware mode where you just give it I2S and audio comes out. And you can use some of these pins to set the gain, but for the, in the format, but for the most part, it's like plug and play. Like you just give it, power, ground, and 3 digital signals, and audio just starts piping out. And then you use mute to do a digital mute. But if you want to have configuration like volume, and I think like there's some digital like DSP filter stuff inside, and soft mute, and other like filters and de-emphasis and changing the like offset gain or whatever. There's I2C and SPI available, and we wrote drivers for again Arduino and Python/CircuitPython if you want to use the control pins in order to do software control of the I2S decoding. But like I said, I really like it that it's a really high quality I2S amp, and it works with everything because you don't need to do the configuration. It works like out of the box, like in hardware mode. And this cable, we accidentally bought this cable. And yeah, I bought HDMI cables, and they were supposed to come with HDMI connectors. They didn't. My loss is your gain. This is a really high quality cable, and it's $1. And it's a nice skinny cable with good shielding, twisted pairs, 19 conductors. Go to town. The STM32F405 feather is back, and the price is down to being something reasonable because during the part shortage, we had to increase the price because the cost of chips went up like $10 a piece or more. I think it was $15 a piece for a moment. The price came back down to something reasonable. I think they're about $5 a piece now again. So we now have the feather at the original price, like $24.95, and which is awesome. And we're remaking it. One thing that changed is the polarity of the the SD card detect changed, and I don't remember, something changed with the part number and it wasn't noticed, or like the one that we have now is not the same as the one we originally used. So just be aware if you want it. If you're checking for SD detect, it's like active low instead of active high now. Otherwise everything else is identical. It's otherwise drop-in replaceable, and it's going to be bagged. So we actually sold through. We'll have more. The Raspberry Pi M.2 Compact hat. This one, the thing that's nice about it is you can put it inside the Raspberry Pi case, and there's space for the fan here. So that's what makes this nice. You can't use like the full, 2080 size. I think you can only use like the 2022. I don't know exactly the 2030 size. But to be honest, a lot of diskette, little SSD drives come in this package size. And you can use it with a cooling case, which people really like. So you can use it for adding lots of storage. We talked about these cables. Had a couple of requests for 100 packs for the mini Nano NeoPixels. These are little 4-pin NeoPixels, which just have power ground, data in, data out, 2mm by 2mm size. And if you want them for less, for a pack of 100. The Raspberry Pi 500 Plus, we are now stocking. So this is cool. It's like a mechanical keyboard style. So you can remove these. Use I think Gateron keys, and you can of course put your own custom keycaps on. And there's NeoPixels underneath. It's kind of like a souped up version of the Pi 500. Also has NVMe storage. I think there's like an SSD slot inside. And using like their own 256 gigabyte SSD. And we're stocking only the American regional version. So I can check that out. And we'll get more of those soon. Cool, because like it's got a RP2040 inside that you can run KMK or QMK on. The MyoWare sensor we've stocked for a while, now has been released as version 2. This has 3 contacts, which is kind of nice. The reference and then 2 signals. It doesn't come with the disposable contacts, so don't forget to buy the EMG electrodes if you don't stock those, or go to your local pharmacy. They sell them in packs of 50 or 100, but I like the ones that we've got. And you stick them on, and then you can get analog signal out very easily. They've got great documentation, libraries, example codes, so check them out. I really like the MyoWare sensor. I feel like they really solved the muscle sensor problem for people who want to do that kind of measurement for assistive tech or just for like cool sensor projects. We also have a new version of the ESP S2 Saola. Now comes with 2 micro USB ports. Used to only come with 1, and you'd have to wire up the secondary native USB with the socket. You don't have to do that anymore. It comes with the 2 on it already. Yay! It's got also 8 megabytes of flash and 2 megabytes of PS RAM. It used to be, I think, 4 and 2. Now it's 8 and 2, which is great. So overall, just like a nice improvement. It's pretty much drop-in, but like I said, there's now native USB and a debugging UART, so you can, if you're you don't have to constantly put it to bootloader mode if you're wanting to program it via Arduino or CircuitPython or Platform.io. And then finally, we have another new sensor. This is the STHS34PF80. Why they name it like that, I don't know. But this sensor it's basically like a passive IR sensor, very similar to these PIR sensors, except it doesn't need a lens. It's a lensless design. So it can measure presence and motion up to 4 meters away of people, of animals, as long as they're fairly large. It also has a built-in temperature monitor for local, and can measure presence. So one thing about PIR sensors is they tend to only measure motion. This can measure both presence and motion. It's kind of nice. So it's you don't have to wave your hand in front of it to reactivate it. And it doesn't have timeout. It has I2C, so you don't have to worry about, PIR sensors usually give you a digital signal, and it's not in depth. It just says, was there motion in the last 30 seconds? This will give you much more detailed information. So this sensor, I have Arduino library, CircuitPython, and Python coming soon. So that's all the products.
Good
the
work.
Last few weeks.
Wow, and that is new products. You did it.
New, 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 new.